Hello, everyone. This is Jeffrey Kerr. From October 10th through 15th, North Carolina Theater will be presenting Beautiful, the Carole King musical at Raleigh Memorial Auditorium, which is located inside the Martin Marietta Center for the Performing Arts. Today, I'm here with the actor who will be taking on the role of real-life music publisher and producer Don Kirshner. He has appeared on Broadway in Legally Blonde, South Pacific, Enron, and Elf. Some of his film and TV credits include Law and Order, Across the Universe, The Good Wife, Modern Family, Lucky Stiff, and Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Please welcome Noah Weisberg.
Hey there. Thanks for having me.
To start things off, how are rehearsals going?
They're great. We are on day 3 of what I think we get like 10 days to rehearse, but everyone came in so prepared on day 1 that we're kind of flying through it, and everyone's really nice, so we're just kind of playing and having fun.
How has it been getting to work with your fellow cast members and creative team?
So let's start with the director, Parker Essie. Is such a collaborative person. On day 1 of rehearsal, he said, so we're just going to do whatever version we want to do. We're going to try, we're going to get up our feet, we'll sketch it out and we'll finesse it. He's not like controlling or anything, but he's got a great vision still for what the show needs to be, which I think means he hired people that he trusts and loves to work with. That goes for the rest of the team too. All the actors are super nice and collaborative, and we're trying different things and finding moments, and our music team, our stage management team, and everyone even behind the scenes. It's really, I've been here 3 days, and it's been one of my favorite theatrical experiences in terms of rehearsal process in a long time.
And what have you been enjoying most about working with North Carolina Theater so far?
Well, one of the things is just being in North Carolina. I love the area. The people are so friendly. I went to Char Burger or some great old place downtown, and just everyone is just friendly at the theater and all around town. So that's been one of my favorite things.
And this musical tells the true story behind the song catalogs of Carole King, Jerry Goffin, Barry Mann, and Cynthia Weil. How familiar were you with them prior to this?
I don't know if I was fully familiar. And that's part of the fun thing, because when people come to see the show, I think they're going to have this experience, because we use all of their songs in the show. And so you're going to be sitting there going, oh my God, they wrote that. They wrote that. Oh, that was a song at our wedding. Oh, I did. Wait, that's Carole King. There's so many songs that, yeah, we know they wrote, and then so many we don't even realize, because Carole at like 16 was writing songs for the Shirelles and the Drifters. I mean, there are songs that we don't even know that she wrote, but everyone just strikes a chord in the audience.
Oh yeah, there's even songs that Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil later wrote that aren't in the show, but songs they're probably familiar with, like, the soundtrack for An American Tail.
Yeah, I mean, these are legendary writers.
And would you mind telling us about your character, Don Kirshner?
So Don, was a real music producer. So I did as much research as I could on the guy. But then we're also doing a show. They took a real life, the idea of like based on a true story. And that's what this show is. I'm sure not every moment happened exactly the way they've theatricalized it. So you kind of do the research, and then you just go, okay, what can I bring to it? What's my version of Don? Maybe it's not exactly like the real guy, but that's where I started. Who is this guy? And then what can I, as an actor, bring to this characterized version of this real person?
And you previously played Don Kirshner at the St. Louis Muni this past summer. How has it been for you getting to play him again?
I'm not just saying this because I'm in this show. This has become one of my favorite musicals. I have fallen in love with the material. We did a great production in St. Louis, and I think this one's going to be equally outstanding. The show, the audience just eats it up. Even if you're a younger generation, you're like, who's Carole King? I got to watch it. The audiences love it. And I think part of that is we love doing the show because the material is so good. It's so funny. And because it's so funny, when the touching sort of heartfelt moments happen, they really hit because you've been laughing for the last 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, and of course, credit for that should be given to the book writer, the late Douglas McGrath, who passed away last year.
Yeah, because a lot of these sort of biographical shows, and a lot of which I love, they're not always funny. This one feels like it's written like a sitcom. There's this joke, and then all of a sudden you're like, am I crying? No, this is an emotional moment. And then you're back to laughing, and then an amazing song. They really did it right.
Oh, yeah, and of course, I should add that part of Doug's background prior to this was working as a writer on Saturday Night Live, as well as collaborating with Woody Allen.
Yeah, it's got that old, in a good way, that sort of like classic comedy, setup joke, setup joke. It feels right.
And I was going to ask you if you did any research on the real Don Kirshner prior to the first time you played him, and you've kind of alluded to that.
Yeah, so I did, and again, we talked about that actually on day one of rehearsal. We said there are some things that we've done research and that's not exactly how it happened in the play, but it really happened this way in real life. And we're like, again, it's based on a true story. We don't know exactly word for word. So we just have to make these characters as much us as we can and hope it pays, sort of honors the real people.
So going back to the beginning, how did you first get started in the theater?
When I was a little kid, I was playing sports, baseball mainly, doing sports camp every summer. And one summer, my mom said, because she knew I was getting interested in theater. She said, there's a theater camp, a summer theater camp, if you don't want to do sports camp. I was like, yeah, I don't have to be outside playing soccer in like 89-degree humidity. That, yes, please. And that sort of was it. There's a great program where I'm from in Northbrook, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. A guy named Dr. Denhart ran this incredible program that created a lot of, not necessarily Broadway stars, but people that had confidence, could communicate in whatever sort of profession they would end up being in.
Do you have any memorable roles from then?
The first role I did as a little kid was in Babes in Toyland, and I think I had 2 lines, and I cherished those lines. I think I rehearsed those lines like 90 times with my mom. She was giving me suggestions on how I should say them. All of that, though, feeds back to, into what we do today, because all those years of sort of experience and trying and failing and going to NYU to study, all of that ends up feeding back into whatever play or TV show or whatever you're doing at the time, which seems like a long time ago, but like all of that's in you, which hopefully will come across in Beautiful.
Within the past couple of months, members of SAG-AFTRA have been on strike. The Writers Guild of America and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers recently reached a tentative agreement which ended the writers' strike. Now, as someone who's had a number of acting gigs on the big and small screens, how do you hope the SAG-AFTRA strike eventually gets resolved?
I hope it gets resolved quickly now that, our fellow union members in the Writers Guild have come to an agreement. Right now, we received an email from our union saying there is no set time to get back to the table. They're hoping to. We want to. We're ready. So I think this is more than just about actors and writers. And I think it's about people, human beings being treated fairly and people deserving something fair for the work that they do. And so if a network or a streaming organization or whatever is going to make a ton of money off of something, they should at least share that in an equitable way with the people that are physically doing the work. And I know we're not backing down, and I hope that we can come to something. There's always a little give and take, I imagine, in these negotiations, but I hope we can come to a fair agreement. I hope soon, because we're artists, and 99% of us are not gazillionaires. We're people that just love to do this art, and we want to get back to doing that on TV and film. And we're so lucky that a lot of us also love theater, and that's our home base. So that's why I'm here in North Carolina to do Beautiful, because whether there was a strike or not on TV, I would be here doing Beautiful.
Well, yeah, and a nice thing about actors who work in all mediums, when one union's on strike, you got another union to go to in the meantime.
Yeah, that is a blessing. And for most actors, I'm sure, most even TV actors, you ask them, theater's their home, that's where their heart is. It's always about balancing your schedule so you can do both.
And for those who'd like to pursue a career in the theater, where do you think would be a good place to start?
Well, for like the younger people, their local community theater, like I did and like a lot of us did, just doing those shows. And then hopefully high school shows, maybe majoring in it in college if that feels like a right fit for you. If there's a university that you choose that you like, that your family can afford, because it's outrageously and kind of stupidly expensive, but it is a nice 4-year concentration of just doing theater. And then when you get out of school, or when you move to New York or whatever town you're going to move to really pursue this professionally, just going at it 100%. Because it doesn't really get that much easier, even when you've done a lot of stuff. It's always a hustle. And you kind of hopefully love the hustle because it's what you want to do, but it's not often that things just keep flying at you. You're always kind of doing the work and talking to your agents, managers. It's joyful, but it's a lot of work.
Before we go, do you have any other upcoming projects that you'd like to share with us?
I have no jobs after this. But I mean, again, this is the 3rd day of rehearsal. We have 7 more days. And then we open on, October 10th through the 15th. I'm so proud of this show. I'm so proud of our cast. Even like last night at the hotel, we're all hanging out. A group of us are hanging out. It's set up like trickle down in terms of the spirit that's established at this theater, from the artistic director Eric on down. You feel like a family when you're here, and I think that is hopefully will be shown on stage because we're already feeling it. So we're just excited to finish rehearsals and get our costumes and lights and everything ready so we can show everybody what we've done on October 10th through the 15th.
Noah, I thank you very much for devoting your time to this interview. It was great getting to talk to you.
Thank you so much. We're selling really well, which is great because I think a lot of people know about the show, but you can get tickets at nctheater.com. And theater is spelled R-E at the end because, we're fancy. So nctheater.com for those that still haven't gotten the tickets.
And for those who'd like to keep up with your career, where can people find you on the internet?
I think you should just go to Instagram. It's my name, at Noah Weisberg.
Be sure to catch North Carolina Theater's production of Beautiful, the Carole King musical. It will be playing at Raleigh Memorial Auditorium inside Martin Marietta Center for the Performing Arts from October 10th through 15th. You can find more information through a link in the episode notes. So thanks again for joining me today, Noah. This was great.
Thank you.